Hello students! Today we will be talking about capitalization within our writing, and we will be doing this by learning about when we should or should not capitalize words within our sentences. And in order to understand this distinction between when we should or should not capitalize, we will also be discussing the differences between common and proper nouns. But before we get started on our fun mini lesson, I just wanted to quickly introduce myself. My name is Miss Voigt, and I am a student at Ball State University. I'm excited to work with you on your writing, particularly through teaching capitalization. So first, let's go ahead and define capitalization so that we can better understand what we will be focusing on in order to workshop our writing. So capitalization is when the first letter in a word is uppercase and the following letters are in lowercase. And capitalization is used at the beginning of every sentence, and it's also used when talking about a specific person, place, or thing. Now, this last bullet refers to what we would call a proper noun, and that is what is capitalized within a sentence, but we'll go ahead and get to that in a second. Now, you might be thinking that it's not always easy to figure out just what words qualify as specific nouns that have to be capitalized within a sentence, so let's take a look at some examples together. Now, in this sentence, where do we capitalize? We all went to the movies. Well, we would capitalize the W in we because it is at the beginning of the sentence, and we capitalize at the beginning of a sentence because it helps the reader easily follow a piece of writing with a clear visual transition into new sentences and ideas. So that's why we do that at the beginning of the sentence. So let's take a look at another example. Jill, Mark, and I went to see the Avengers. And where do we capitalize here? Well, we've capitalized Jill, Mark, I, and the Avengers. Now, we capitalize there because these words are all examples of proper nouns. And the proper nouns are capitalized, as you can see, at any location within the sentence. And so what is a proper noun, you might ask? Well, a proper noun, if you take a look at this chart, you'll see that when it comes to capitalization, there are two different types of nouns to consider. Common nouns are general, non-specific nouns, a person, place, thing, or idea. So they're general, and they are not capitalized unless they're at the beginning of a sentence, because as you saw before, we capitalize the first word in any sentence no matter what. On the flip side, proper nouns, they name a specific noun, which is a person, place, or thing, and it begins with a capital letter no matter its location in the sentence. So those are the two main differences. Common nouns, general, and they are not capitalized unless they're at the beginning of the sentence. Proper nouns are specific, and they are capitalized no matter where they are in the sentence. So if we're looking at this example here, superhero is a word that is general. It's not naming any specific superhero, so it is under common nouns and is therefore lowercase. If we look to the right, Superman is capitalized because it is a proper noun. It names a specific person. All right. So now that we understand the difference between common and proper nouns and their roles in capitalization, let's take a look at a few examples. So here you'll see a list of common nouns on the left with examples of specific proper nouns on the right. So if we take a look at the first one here, football player is a common noun because it can apply to any football player, whereas Peyton Manning is a proper noun because it's specific. There's only one Peyton Manning. It refers to one specific person. Again, teacher on the second line is a general, common noun, but Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus, she is a proper noun. She is specific. We get to this third line here, chips. So chips is specific, but if you went in deeper and described the brand name of the chips with the word Cheetos, that is more specific and that is a proper noun. Again, with restaurant, that's general, but Olive Garden, if you say that, then that's more specific, that gets capitalized. Document, lowercase. Declaration of Independence, same thing, it's specific, so it's capitalized. Movies, that's general, it can be applied to any kind of movie, but once you say the proposal, that's capitalized because that is more specific. So, all right, now that you know about that, let's go ahead and have you try to come up with some examples of common and proper nouns using this chart. So you can pause the video and brainstorm a general common noun, then come up with a list of more specified proper nouns. And if you need to see the other chart for inspiration, you can just rewind the video a bit and look at it again as you fill out this chart. Alright, so after you have completed your chart, let's move on to identifying capitalization for common and proper nouns in a few sentences from famous books such as Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Hunger Games, and Paper Towns. So, take a look at this excerpt from Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, and as I'm reading this, pay attention to words that need to be capitalized. Well, thought Harry, as he crossed Magnolia Crescent, turned onto Magnolia Road, and headed toward the darkening play park, he had, by and large, done as Sirius advised. He had at least resisted the temptation to tie his trunk to his broomstick and set off for the borough by himself. So, we're looking at this and you are paying attention to what words needed to be capitalized. So let's look at this. So first we have well. Well is a common noun, but it is at the beginning of the sentence, so we have it capitalized. Now we move on to proper nouns, which are Harry, specific person, so he's capitalized. Across Magnolia Crescent and Magnolia Road are specific places, so those are capitalized. Then we have Sirius, and he is capitalized as another character, so that's another person, so his name is capitalized. And then we move on to the borough. Now the borough is where Ron Weasley's family lives, so that is specific and that will be capitalized. So those are all proper nouns except for well. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead and move on to another example from the Hunger Games. And as I read this excerpt, try and see if there are any words that should not be capitalized because they are common nouns. 60 seconds to take in the ring of tributes, all equidistant from the cornucopia, a giant golden horn shaped like a cone with a curved tail, the mouth of which is at least 20 feet high, spilling over with things that will give us life here in the arena. Alright, so you were just paying attention to common nouns that have been mistakenly capitalized. So let's take a look at this. There's too much capitalization of common nouns, so what works and what doesn't? Alright, in blue we have correct capitalization, so let's take a look at that first. So, 60, that is common noun, but it is at the beginning of the sentence, so it gets capitalized. And then the next one is the cornucopia. The cornucopia is a specific thing, so that is capitalized. Now we move on to the words in red. Red is incorrect capitalization. They're common nouns that have been mistaken for proper nouns. Tributes. This one could be considered kind of tricky, but we are not naming any specific tributes. It's just a big group of people, so that is general and that is therefore lowercase. Horn could be in reference to the cornucopia, but that is not specific enough because there is another word, cornucopia, that is more specific. So horn should not be capitalized. Us, Us could be referring to all the people there in the Hunger Games, and that is general. It's not naming specific people, so it should also be lowercased. And the last one, arena, should also be lowercased because it's not naming a specific arena, a specific place, a name of the arena, so therefore it should be lowercased. Alright, let's take a look at one last example. This one is from John Green's Paper Towns. For this one, I'd like you to try and identify what words need to be capitalized and also which ones should not be capitalized. So take a look at both of those as I read. FYI, whoever edits this, the population of Algo will actually be 1 until May 29th at noon. So that was kind of difficult to read or hard to follow along because of the incorrect capitalization. It's kind of confusing. So let's take a look at what did or did not work. So FYI. So we'll take a look at the blue first. The blue signifies what needs to be capitalized, which are common nouns at the beginning of the sentence and proper nouns in the middle. So, FYI, that's the first words, that should be capitalized. Next, we go all the way to algo, that is a specific place, that should be capitalized. And then May is a specific month, so that should be capitalized. Now, the red signifies what needs to be uncapitalized, which are common nouns within the sentence. Edits, that should not be capitalized. Population to general, that should be lowercase. Will should be lowercase. As should 1 and as should noon. Alright, so now that we've taken a look at that, let's just go ahead and recap what we have learned today. So we have defined capitalization. We've learned about the differences between common and proper nouns when it comes to capitalization, which is, again, common nouns are general, non-specific nouns, a person, place, thing, or idea. Common nouns are not capitalized unless they are at the beginning of a sentence. Proper nouns, they name a specific noun, person, place, thing, or idea, and it begins with a capital letter, and it's no matter its location in a sentence. So after some practice with brainstorming examples of common and proper nouns and identifying both in passages of our favorite books, I hope that you all feel more confident when it comes to capitalization in your writing. And here I'll just leave you with one more fun example of common versus proper nouns, with cat as a common noun versus a proper noun is Garfield. Kind of fun. And I just hope that you've learned quite a bit, and I wish you all the best of luck in your writing in the future. Thank you very much.